My name is Adonis King. I have been a magician for many years, also a marketer. I began my career actually very young. At the age of 14, I joined the Society of American Magicians. Magic's been an important part of my life, most of my life. I've made a great deal of money off of it, although I'm sort of on hiatus right now doing what I consider to be more important work. But one might say that this work actually began because of my interest in magic and illusion. Let me explain. You see, back in 1974, when I first joined the Society of American Magicians and then later the International Brotherhood of Magicians, I became involved in the local area magic clubs. There I got to meet some of the most astounding people I have ever seen or met. One of them is passed on now, a gentleman by the name of Jerry Andrus, was one of the first who I came in contact with.
Who is Jerry Andrus?
Boy, you gotta meet this guy.
Kind of a combination of Albert Einstein and Walt Disney.
He's not an autopilot kind of guy, let's put it that way.
Jerry, I would call a humanist, a non-theist.
He's valuable, very, very valuable.
The guy is off the charts.
In Jerry's case, I had no hesitation. He's a genius.
Jerry is an extraordinary magician because he creates his own material.
When you think about inventing a magic trick, okay, you're gonna take something and you're gonna fool somebody in a way that nobody's ever done before. It's an amazingly difficult task to set before you. And Jerry does hundreds of these.
And he is a delight. Everything about him is a delight. His little eccentricities, little quirks.
Occasionally, he walks some of the same paths that we do, and we get a glimpse of what that world is like. But really, I think only a glimpse. You know, this puzzle, this magic trick, this illusion, he's a wonder, and I'm damn lucky to have been on the planet at the same time.
This is zone zero, and whatever goes through that hole into zone zero, it instantly vanishes. Whatever goes through the hole into zone zero, it instantly vanishes. Now, the beautiful part about it, it's sort of like a functional black hole. You see, I can reach right in here and retrieve it. Thank you. Now, the ball doesn't actually vanish when it goes through the hole. It's when I take my hand out that it's gone. I'm talking about totally, completely, absolutely gone, but always instantly retrievable. Would you take out any card you'd like? Put your initial on the face of it, please. Put your card back in there someplace. There we go. Fine. There's her card. I have absolutely no idea what it is. What I'm going to try to do, I'm going to try to shuffle these cards into the case. Now, I want you to cut the cards. You'll cut right to your card. Just cut the cards. There we go. Her card is in.
And through him, I got to meet a gentleman by the name of Professor Ray Hyman.
Thank you, Curtis, and congratulations, Ray, on the Philip J. Klass Award.
I think a good place to begin for the exploration of your impact on skepticism is, how does a young psychology student get into this parapsychology racket? In other words, why you, not your colleagues? What interested you early on, going 50 years ago, to apply science to this burgeoning field?
Actually, it goes back way beyond 60 years.
Wow.
I did my first professional magic show at age 7. What happened was my father, for my birthday, gave me a few magic tricks.
Mm-hmm.
I took him to school to show and tell, and I did the magic tricks, and the teacher said, thought it was cute, I guess. She said, would you want to do this for the Parent Teachers Association? I did, and they gave me $5. That was a long time ago, and that was a lot of money. And I was able to get a top hat with that $5, and a printer printed a lot of cards for me, and he called me the Merry Mystic, because I lived on the Mystic River, apparently, so I was known as the Merry Mystic. I spread those cards all over the city of Everett, Massachusetts. That's where I was. Not a great city to be, but it's a good city to be from, okay? And I got hired by the library for their story hour, and it went off from there. It took off. So I got books out of the library when I could read, and I learned there was a guy named Houdini. And he was a favorite, he was a great magician, and he was a skeptic. He went around exposing spiritualists. I never heard of him before, but it's something I had to do, because I'm a magician, right? A young magician. So I know at least from age 16, I never got to attend a seance, but I was able to go to, they used to have, all through the Boston area, there were spiritual churches, and they would have message readings. Mm-hmm. And you could come, and there would be someone stand at the podium, a visiting spiritualist or someone, and people would write their questions, and they would be collected in a box and then put on the stage, and he'd reach in and take out one of the folded slips and put it to his head and answer the question, mm-hmm. Okay? And so I remember one of the meetings I was at, I was 16, I'm sure, at that time, and I was 16, and about the next, in age to me, next closest would be about 60 to 70 years old. These were elderly people, mostly elderly women and some men, who were trying to reach the lost one.
During this church service where the
exactly.
minister used the Q&A act
Right.
to inspire belief
Right.
in spirit communication.
And some of these people were pretty awful in their technique. And I remember there was one man who was doing this, and he was old, and he lost his touch. He had a blindfold on, and he would grab the thing and put it to his head, but first he opened it a little bit, and he couldn't see too well, so he would look up. It was pretty obvious. And I thought all these people are going to see this, and they'd be very upset, but everyone was looking everywhere except at him. No one was looking at this guy. And a lady sitting beside me, a nice little old lady, she was looking at the ceiling. I said, look at this guy. She said, she looked at me, and then she looked behind her, but she would not look there. And I realized, even at that young age, that these people don't want to see this thing, even though they're obviously being duped. They didn't want to see it. So I learned lessons like that as a kid. I went to a lot of those things.
Later on, I would become a marketer, and in marketing, perception is a very, very important skill to have. It helps you to be creative, to see things from a broad view as well as a myopic view. You've got to be able to look at the big picture and look at the small. Most people live kind of like that guy in They Live. You know, he was walking around before he had these magic glasses, and when he put them on, he was able to see something different. Magic, illusion, it all has to do with perception. Perception is the ability, it's how we see. It's how we experience our world. I've often heard it said that, you know, we both look at the color green, are we both seeing the same thing? And there's a reason to suspect that maybe we don't. if you look where you're sitting right now, people who are watching this, and I look at where I'm sitting, we're seeing completely different things. As a magician, as a marketer, I know that perception is skewed, it is framed, it's much like the glasses. You put them on, you can see what's happening behind the scenes. And so when I look at life, I perceive it much like a magic show. I see what's going on stage, but I'm always looking behind the curtain. I want to see what's out there, what is really happening.
Magical thinking, is a slippery slope. Sometimes it's harmless enough, but other times it's quite dangerous. Personally, I'm opposed to that kind of fakery, so I have no reservations at all about exposing these people and their illusions for what they really are. I've investigated the claims of hundreds of psychics. People aren't always happy with my conclusions, but I do have my supporters. In 1986, I was honored with a MacArthur Award. Unfortunately, most of the prize money went into defending myself against a series of libel suits related to one of my earliest and most controversial investigations. The subject was Uri Geller, a young Israeli who claimed to have supernatural powers.
His remarkable affinity for metal and his psychic abilities are well documented all over the world.
In the early 1970s, Geller became a superstar, the most famous psychic in the world.
Okay, just a second, look at me. Visualize everything that you drew once more.
He claimed to read people's minds.
I'm gonna show what I got, and if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, but it really came very strong in. It could be 2 mountains with a round thing on, or 2 people.
Can I show?
Yeah, I'd like to. Am I wrong?
You're right.
I'm right. Good. That's what I got. Oh, it's...
He claimed to bend keys with his mind.
I know you're going to think this is a setup, friends, and old Tom has never conned you on anything. This guy is bending this key by rubbing it. It was bent at about a 1 degree angle when you started out, and it's coming up on 45 degrees now and still moving.
You're thinking bend, is that what you're doing?
Yes, I'm saying bend.
You're saying bend,
yes.
Hard, soft?
No, I'm saying bend, 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 and sometimes I say bend, baby.
But Geller was best known for his way with spoons.
Hold the tip of the spoon very, very gently.
Okay.
What I'm doing is I'm trying to melt the metal down. Yes, you see, I feel it.
It's
yes,
going.
It's getting loose.
Yeah.
And there's no force at all in my hands. Yes, look what's happening.
There's no force at all.
Look, the whole, you see it's becoming like
thing's
plastic.
ready to fall off.
It's, and touch it here where I'm stroking it. There is absolutely no...
That is eerie. I have a wisdom tooth.
If you can see, the metal is beginning to crack here.
It's breaking.
Yeah, you see what's...
just
Look, it's becoming, it's like putty wax. You see? Look. And keep stroking it here. You see the... No, don't. You see the crack is becoming bigger.
Yep.
I melt the metal down, so
Wow.
I want it to bend. I just say bend.
Yeah, you melted it.
You see? Now, wait a minute. Keep stroking your keys more. And people at home, want your watches to start working, or if there is a radio that is broken, want it to start working. Television broken, just wanted all those broken things. Now,
What Geller was saying, effectively, was that wanting things could make them so. I felt that claim had to be challenged. The media, even some scientists, were taking the Geller phenomena seriously. So I decided to show, for starters, that I could at least duplicate these effects using trickery. Now, a key can be displayed in such a way that it looks like it's bending. For example, just by stroking it, you'd swear that it's bending right up before your eyes. Magicians call this process ratcheting. But to do this, the key has to be bent in advance. The hard part, of course, is how to go about bending the key without letting them catch you. Now, there are several ways. I could, for example, take it and press the tip against the top of the table. That would do it. Or in shifting my chair backwards or forwards, as I just did, I could have taken it and dropped it below the level of the table and pressed the tip on the chair I'm sitting on, which is exactly what I just did. Did I fool you? Mentalists have been duplicating hidden drawings for years. If Mr. Geller had chosen to use trickery, he could have used any of a number of techniques. One favorite involves turning your back and covering your eyes while the drawing is being made. Now, I've always wondered why you would cover your eyes while your back is turned. But melting metal is something else again. It's done something like this. And it gets soft. So I say to it, bend, 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 and it bends. Of course, it does take a little preparation. In fact, it takes a lot of preparation. Now, this isn't proof positive that other demonstrations aren't the result of supernatural power, but isn't this a more reasonable explanation? And then, of course, there was Mr. Geller's appearance on The Tonight Show. I got a call after they booked him to appear.
Would you welcome, please, Uri Geller.
Johnny had been a magician himself and was skeptical. I was asked to help prevent any trickery.
Nice to see you.
Thanks.
We have only met...
This scares me.
This scares you? Well, this is we just got some things together here. And
I told them to provide their own props and not to let Geller or his people anywhere near them.
Also, one of our staff members did some drawings which have been sealed in an envelope, and I'd like you to take your own pace when you feel like you want to try anything.
Right.
Do you want to try that particular experiment first?
When I'll feel free.
When
Okay?
you Sure.
We'll start eliminating the ones that do not have the water.
All right, without touching them.
He is really suspicious, you know. I'm having a hard time with you.
Okay, I don't mean to be, Uri. I really
No,
don't.
just keep looking. Okay, let me rest a little, all right?
All right.
You know, I'm surprised because before this program, your producer came and he read me at least 40 questions you're going to ask me.
Well, I can ask you all kinds of questions if you'd like. If you'd like me to ask you questions.
I have to have time, and
All right, we are back. Uri was telling me you don't feel what, strong tonight?
I don't
Is that?
feel strong. It's not all tonight. Right now, I'm feeling being pressed, and then I can't.
Well, I'm not trying to press you. I really not.
No, you're only telling me, well, will you try that or that or that?
Well, I thought that was the idea of. No, I'm not trying to put you down.
Much to my surprise, the Tonight Show episode didn't have much effect on Uri Geller's career. Neither did the book that I wrote about him. But eventually, his star faded. Why people are so drawn to the irrational is something that has always puzzled me.
Look at things rationally. Look at things scientifically. Look at things with a questioning and skeptical mind. Don't look at what they want you to see. Look the other direction. Seek the curtain. Look behind the curtain. Life is magic.